Are we filming? Yes. Good morning, boys and girls. We are here today, boys and girls in TechNel land, to perform RET testing, which is remote electrical tilt testing and scanning for various customers. The sequence is always the same. First of all, we must have the proper equipment. A laptop computer completely installed with the software required for the electrical tilt test, the RET testing. We must have a portable remote controller. In this case, we are dealing with RFS. This is a RFS portable controller, complete with our RET connector, our USB connector that goes into your computer, and power. The power is actually what turns the motors. These are the motors in the antenna. In this case, we have two 1900 motors, one 800 motor. Okay, each motor has a dipstick, which that can visually tell you the required tilt it is set at. Okay, these are the plungers. Numbers are telling you which electrical tilt each motor is set at. Okay, now we're going to start performing the test. Once you have everything hooked up, we will now hook up our RET tester, our RET connection, should I say, that is going to our portable controller and into the 800 motor. In this case, this RET cable is coming from here to the 800 motor of the antenna. Okay, now before we start the testing, we must have a RF configuration sheet from the customer. In this case, it's Sprint. This particular sheet will tell us both 1900 and 800 electrical tilt settings. We have each sector, alpha, beta, and gamma, and inside you will see where it says electrical tilt, and it has that prescribed number for each sector. Okay, in this case, 1900. Our electrical tilts for alpha is 1, beta is 2, gamma is 3, and we have the same for 800. Okay, now we will now go into our prescribed software. Okay, in this case, this is what the icon looks like. We click on that. We click yes to open. Okay, now we must put our COM port setting. Okay, in this case, our COM port setting, which is from where the USB is connected, we have determined is 3. All cap letters is needed in this case. Cap letters, just put on cap locks. What the? They have me to pause. No, just say shit, bro.
No, see? No, it's not working. Oh, maybe it's luck.
There we go. I got it.
All right. Okay.
Don't push anything up. In this case, we are at COM port 3. Okay. Username and password for this particular case is admin. Okay, once that's typed in, the program or software will immediately start testing the factory settings of the RETs in the antenna. Okay, in this case, this is what the screen will look like. Okay, once that initial setting is pushed. In this case, we testing the 800 motor, which is only 1. And you're going too fast, bro. You gotta wait till I said it. We click on that particular motor here, and this is what the screen looks like. In this case, according to the RF configuration sheet, the 800 for alpha is -8. We have already set that prior to coming. Go down, bro.
No, it's ready.
I know, I'm sure. I gotta get it. And you keep pressing stuff. Okay, it's already set at 8. That's what the screen like. Here in location, we will set our site number and sector. Okay, we just simply type that in. So now, okay, our site ID, sector, and frequency or technology, which is the site number NY54XC080, the sector alpha, and the technology, in this case 800. Okay, that's all typed in. This is our screen. So now what we want to do, we want to save this information for closeout purposes. So what we're going to do now, to save this page, we're going to print this screen. So we go to Function on your keyboard and Print Screen. Okay, Function, Print Screen. Then we minimize this page and we go into a Word document and we push Control V. Matter of fact, just push Control V, and you will see Control V, and that page from the RET testing software pops up in this document. In the event, I'm backing up here, the COM port setting is not properly set when you click on the software to run. I will now show you how you locate your correct COM setting. No, anything other than 3. Okay. Go ahead, admin. Don't push nothing yet. Okay, we have set our COM port at 4. We're going to now push OK. And if the COM port setting is incorrect, this is the prompt you will get. Now, in order to find our correct COM setting, we're going to X out of here, click Start, and go to Computer. Okay, we're going to go to Start. Right click Computer. It's important you right click, go to Manage. Okay, you're going to go in Device Managers. And then we're going to look for ports. And okay, in this case, you will see that our RET controller is set at COM 3. So that's what we must input in order to log in. Restart our software for the RET controller. We will now set, let me just see, our port at COM 3. And we are now successfully logged into the software. So that's what we do in case your COM port setting is not accurate. That's how you find your accurate and correct COM port setting for that day. Now that we have successfully set the 800 frequency in this case for this site, we must now set the 1900 settings. In this case for alpha, from the configuration sheet, alpha, we want the 1900 technology, the electrical tilt or E setting is -1. So we must change the RET cable from the 800 motor to the import side of one of the 1900 motors. Note, there are both male and female connectors on each motor. So find the appropriate motor. That's the female end, going to the male end of the motor. And this here is a looped RET cable, okay, that will enable us to control both 1900 motors. And once rescanned, you will be able to see both motors on the RET controller screen. Now that that connection is made, we will now go into the software, and in the upper left corner of the software, there's a set of binoculars. we will click on those binoculars to now scan the 1900 antennas. Software is scanning. Now, if you note, on the left side of the page, you see two motors. Those are the two corresponding 1900 motors on this antenna, on the alpha antenna. Click on one of the motors, we get our same page as like before. We will again set the site name or site cascade along with the sector and the technology. In this case, it's going to be NY 54XC 080 alpha sector 1900. That is now input. Now in this case, our setting per the configuration sheet is 1, and the factory configuration is already there, so there's nothing need to be set in this case. Okay, and again, we will go to print screen, which is function, print screen. We will go back to our Word document. We go to Control and V, and we should get our configuration popped up in the screen, and indeed we do. And we're going to do this for every sector and every motor and save the document for closeout purposes. Again, now we will check the second motor for the 1900 and make sure we're at -1. In this case, that motor is set at 10, so we must now set this one using this set configuration here. We're going to set this to 1 and then click the set button, and that will move the motor. Okay, the plunger in this case is now moving for this motor. As you can see it going in, it went from 10 to 1. The motor has stopped. We see it on our screen. Motor is now set at 1. Now we will label this motor. The highlighted motor is in bold black. And we're going to do the same thing again. Now that this second motor, bold black, is labeled, site number, sector, and technology. Again, function, print screen. Go back to the Word document. Control V. And we should get that second motor red as well. This is our Word document. You can see just from what we had, the bold, which indicates our second motor for this alpha antenna. Everything is set, and we are good to go with this sector. In cases when you try to scan your antenna to install the configuration sheet setting, you may get a red dot in the software indicating the antenna is #1, either not calibrated or not configured. In cases like this, you try to calibrate the antenna first, which is you go here to the calibrate on the screen and just press go. When that turns green, you are now ready to set your factory or customer settings per the RF data sheet. Okay, so again, if you get that red, you go here to calibrate, you click go, that should turn green. In the cases that doesn't work and you get another error saying the antenna is not configured, you go to the bottom right of the page. You see here where you have 3 periods in a row, the antenna configuration data. You click to the left box. You will see the antenna models that are installed as part of the software. In this case, we are dealing with an antenna model APX, should I say, VSPP18. You look for that within these. If that model is not in the software package, you go to the model that is closest possible. In this case, we're just going to pick this particular model. Okay, that comes up. You click on that again. Okay, and you go down to the bottom right again, and you click set. That is now setting the software for that particular antenna model. Okay, now that that is installed, that particular antenna model, closest one to the model you're working on, now you can indeed go to calibrate, and this should go from red to green. Click on calibrate. Okay, we have clicked on go. The RET motor and plunger is now calibrating. The plunger comes all the way out, all the way back in, to show indeed that the motor has control of the plunger and the electrical tillers. So this may take a few seconds, anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. It has now come all the way out, it's now going all the way back in. And once that's complete, that red dot on the screen should indeed turn green. Okay, the motor and plunger has stopped. Now that that is done, you have indeed, see the arrow or the dot on the screen within the software has now turned green. Now we can go to our factory settings. In this case, we'll just use 5 as an example. We're now at 0. We'll go to 5, click set, and we're now able to set our RET controller. That's it.